addiction is very complicated, and I think that a big part of working with people with addictions is to have that compassion and that understanding.
Welcome back to Level Up Life, Muscle and Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Adam. Got Waz riding shotgun. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you. You guys are the reason we do this, and you're the reason this is what it is. So thank you. Got two very special guests with us today. Many local people will know them. They've been a big part of my life from once I started substance abuse, and started counseling. Even at the beginning when it was court ordered, these two individuals showed nothing but compassion, kindness, and taught me a lot about the thinking errors that go behind substance use. So, Jolene Pickleman, Angela Volk, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, first off, I want to lay the groundwork.
Okay.
Anything that has to do with me personally from our time since we've known each other. So my time seeing you, I give you authorization to talk about.
Perfect.
Okay.
So I remember just lay out the first when we met, and I don't even remember who I seen. I think it was you, Jolene.
I think it was. Yeah.
But you guys were in the little space up front of the building across from McDonald's, and there were two offices and the one group room. And my seriousness for recovery at the time wasn't there. I remember getting high before my group sessions, and you guys never treated me any different, which to me, that says a lot about your character. You were like looking down at me.
Yeah. Well, I would say that's kind of our philosophy overall with our business, and when we started out, we wanted to treat people with respect and kindness and, make them feel like they're, wanted and that we want them to be there. And because I think when you get into substance abuse, disorders and mental health disorders too, I think there's a lot of stigma that goes with that. Mm-hmm. So we just wanted to make people feel like, hey, we're here for you.
I felt the love.
Yeah.
Well, so what made you guys want to get into substance abuse counseling?
Go ahead.
Well, my dad, he's passed away now. He had 30 years sober when he passed away. In fact, I gave him his 30-year coin probably a month before he did pass away because he wasn't able to go to meetings anymore. But I grew up in a house where, there was alcoholism, and so I struggled with my own addictions. So I just wanted to, I guess, help people and be there for people. And I saw what my dad did. My dad was a very active person in the AA community, and he was there for a lot of people. He sponsored a lot of people. He called them his pigeons. Mm-hmm. And, brought them home to our house for dinner, and he did a lot of transporting and taking them, like to treatment. And, he also gave open talks at various prisons in Michigan. And so, yeah, when he found out that I wanted to go into substance abuse counseling, he said to me, so you want to work with, and back then it was okay to say alcoholics and mm-hmm. addicts. Yep. And I said, yeah, that's what I want to do. He goes, biggest bunch of liars you're ever going to meet.
I think that would be accurate statement for people in active addiction.
Absolutely. In addictive behavior, when you talk about addictive behaviors, yes, that is one of them.
Deception.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
What about you, Angela?
Yeah, mine is not quite so exciting. I guess I fell into this. I had friends growing up that had abuse and addiction issues. I had a friend overdose a couple of times. I knew I wanted to be in the counseling field, but didn't know. I didn't have anything specific in mind. And my first job happened to be in the field of substance use, and been here ever since.
You guys do great stuff in the community.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So, I guess you both wanted to get into substance use counseling. How did it become J and A? How did you guys link up? I've known you forever, and I don't know that answer.
Well, so back in the day, way back in the day, we both worked for an outpatient agency called Focus, which was always a part of mental health. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, they separated mental health clients go here and substance abuse clients go here. So we did that for many years. And then at some point, there was
downtown, right?
Not downtown. It was
that was where we did our internship, is what you're thinking.
Okay. Alcohol services.
Alcohol services
way
of
back
Midland
in the
County.
day.
That's where I did mine, and she did her internship
that's
there
a long
too.
time ago.
Yeah.
At some point, mental health there's some rules changed, and strictly substance abuse treatment stopped being a state mandated service. And so at that point, we knew, and we had been working, we went to school together, met each other working on our master's degrees. So then we worked together at mental health. And at that point, we knew we wanted to continue to work with substance use. And when you work with substance use, you also work with mental health. I mean, it's a combination.
Yeah.
So we took the plunge. We said, okay, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. And we still don't. We always say we're counselors first, not business owners. We took the plunge and left mental health. We didn't know what to call ourselves. So in the end, the decision was A&J counseling sounded like a used car sales lot. So we went with J&A. We were just so creative for Jolene and Angela.
Because that sounded so much better.
Yeah. But clients would come to us and say, oh, J&A, that's junkies and alcoholics, right? And we said, no, but interesting. Or that's that Jackass place that you can go to. But nope, just our two names. And we kind of just didn't know what in the heck we were doing, but opened up our shop at where you're talking about.
At the time.
Across Eastman. And
What year was that?
oh my gosh.
2004, right? 2004.
Long time ago.
So I was there within the first year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, it was just
us two.
Just the two of us. And yep, I did the filing at night, and
I vacuumed.
I took out the garbage, and so we had a lot of different things that we did.
It's very bizarre today to have as many coworkers as we do and to have two phone lines. And when both phone lines are ringing at the same time, it still kind of blows me away because we sure didn't envision any of that.
Yeah.
So here we are.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love it for you both. I can relate to you're a counselor first and then the business side, because that's where I am a trainer first.
Yep.
And I'm just kind of winging it as far as the business side. And it's nice to have a lot of people around me that have mentored me in terms of hey, you want to make sure you look at the CPI and I'm like, deer in headlights. Okay.
Yeah.
How do I do that? So
Yeah.
I don't think you guys have lost touch with the counseling component as you were doing the business. That was always one of my fears.
Yeah. No, that was real important to both of us. We both always carried a caseload, still do. because that's what we want to do.
Yeah, we're not administrators.
We are not administrators. And, just talking about the old days, going back. It was at first, when we first opened up the little shop there, we would get people, it was kind of like a drop-in center.
Yeah.
Just people, they didn't, they wanted help, but they didn't know where to go. So they just stop in and sit down and have a cup of coffee. And yeah. So we talk about those.
And it still happens.
Yeah, right. And they still stop by and see us, and we talk about the good old days. Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I think I had three or four rounds with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
That was when you said, you're a lifer, Adam. And, I didn't know the depth to that until now, because even I've stopped in, like, hey, I'm going to go see Jolene and Angela.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed when it's only one of you there. I'm like, but I am a lifer. I love what you guys do. I still remember like group sessions where we were talking about thinking errors, and I truly, honestly enjoyed the sessions, where there'd be like little snack area behind.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It felt very home-like.
That's we always wanted that. We always wanted that kind of home environment, just comfortable, and yeah. And we have both done groups for many years. I haven't done them in a little while now, but I really enjoyed doing groups. I really, because the teacher part of me got to come out a little bit, doing putting the stuff on the board, and it's just cool to see people, sitting there and taking it all in, and just knowing, you can just see it clicking, in their brain, just like,
The times I felt really bad, the time, like now, not during, but when I would come in and I would actually be under the influence, I'd be high, and I'm like nodding out, like, I hope they don't know. And how that's that self-deception too. How do you not?
No.
How can you not tell?
Yeah.
Right. I guess when you guys have that type of thing happen, I feel like you embraced me, but I was just like,
yeah, I mean, it's a fine line. So we're not going to call you out and shame you. There's enough of that already going on.
Right.
Usually, unless a person becomes very disruptive, then we'll pull them out and have them kind of sit quietly in the office and calm, get themselves back together. But yeah, we've had people in our groups using, and as long as they're quiet, nodding out, you're okay, yep,
I'm quiet,
and not triggering anybody else.
Right.
There's lessons all over the place, right? Other people will look at you and say that was me. Have empathy for you. It just seems to work.
Yeah, I would say for me, I mean, and with clients in that situation, I mean, I wouldn't, call them out in front of a group of people. I would just say, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? And just say, something's not right.
I'm pretty sure you've done that with me.
Yeah, probably.
A few times.
I'm worried about you, and you just don't seem like yourself. You don't look like yourself. You know what I mean? Because again, I think to me, there's enough shame and feeling bad and stuff like that. So, and that's where we wanted to let people know that we care about you, and we want you to get better and get help and get clean, but yeah, so, and we're there. So, I mean, I would say she and I probably do things that are a little bit unconventional, or have in the past.
Yeah, we don't want our professors to know what we
probably. We won't talk about that.
Yeah, but it's working.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Unconventional is...
Yeah.
We sometimes we will joke, we'll call ourselves the Avon ladies, because we have been known to go to certain people's houses and ring the doorbell because, we're doing an intervention, or a family member called us and told us, how concerned they are for somebody. But yeah, I mean, and that's what you hold on to. You hold on to folks like you, Adam, that we saw looking like crap, right? And lying to yourself, lying to us, to where you are today. It's all about planting seeds, and you're planting seeds with other people, and that's really what it comes down to.
It's huge where it comes full circle. When we were on the phone, a month back, whatever, I was there, and it was go through the motions. I was sober for the majority, and I just did the one-on-ones. It's not a buddy and I go round and round about being a people person and loving people. But the one-on-ones and, the first good bit, I was sober. And then it slowly started creeping in because I'm going to be different here and different here. And my own views on it. But the number one is deception. I mean, you nailed it, right? You're taking it serious. Like, I've heard enough. I can be more in my quiet, reserved way, but saying what they want to hear. Thinking you're fooling. Whether you are or not, I mean, doesn't matter. You're doing it to yourself. And you're handcuffing yourself on any improvements and betterment of life. And just when the light switch finally does actually make contact and that giving back and changing, because most get there. I mean, it's just not giving up.
Right.
How much I have learned through him, from Buddy, and so many of these other people. I mean, Donnie is just amazing right now, how strong he is. And I got 12 and a half years sober. But every time when he walks into recovery lift, I come up and make sure to chat for a while because he's so strong and full right now, where it's like, I'm not feeling any sort of way right now, but you're giving me strength.
Right.
And it helps me, and it carries through my week going to juvenile center, right? Some of them kids are substance abuse, some of them aren't.
Right.
But the mental health, like you guys said, I mean, that's where it found its way with me. And I don't think any of my usage started. I was just kind of blinders on, small little Catholic school, and then out in the public school, like, oh, well, and they're good people. Why not? Let's try it out. And everything progressed, and a whole lot of lack of self-love and everything else and trauma that had come along the way. But my stuff didn't start there. And, I mean, maybe somewhere in there was some of the mental health, but I don't think it started there. It came along the way because of the choices I was making, even when it was just on a minor scale, but still on the escalator, climbing up and up and up.
So addiction's very complicated. If you guys, I'll ask you a very tough question. What is addiction?
Well, oh, wow. Well, yeah, I'm going to agree. Addiction is very complicated, and I think that a big part of working with people with addictions is to have that compassion and that understanding, and just to want to work with that group of people. Because it is so complicated. Yeah, it affects, it's like, I can remember we were watching this video. It's like a mobile, you touch it and it affects all areas of your life. You know what I mean? And yeah, so
that's such a big
addiction?
question. I mean, it's a compulsive behavior, right?
Right.
That impacts all areas of a person's life.
Right.
I mean, it involves
lots of
your thinking is such a huge piece
when he
of
talks
addiction.
About thinking errors.
There's chemical imbalances for some folks.
Right.
I mean, we could talk about that for hours. And there's so many different schools of thought.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, we don't get caught up in, no, this is what it is. This is how you need to look at it. It's really, if what you're doing is hurting you, then let's look at what you can do differently. I think we really try not to get caught up in it's a brain disease or it's all genetics or it's all this or all that. It's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's your, like you
Your
mentioned,
environment.
mental health, your environment, your physical health,
Genetics.
your genetics, emotional
History.
health, history.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many important components to it. Yeah.
As a trainer, I had a lot of clients that I've worked with. I'm very open about my past, which I was using chemicals. Well, what is another chemical that's very highly abused? That's is food.
Yeah.
So a lot of not necessarily, it's the behaviors. How like you think of someone who will emotionally eat with ice cream,
yes.
like they're stressed or
You talking to
same
us?
thinking.
It's the same- it's the
thinking
same.
going on.
and it's the
You're
same
giving yourself permission.
dopamine hit.
It is.
It's just not. It's different levels to that, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, there's gambling. So for my birthday, 41, I went to the casino.
Okay.
Now, I'm not a gambler. I don't like. It's not my gig.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to go with a set amount of money because it's being sober. I can sit there and I'm like, it's all bright and I'm on the slot machine, hit, spin. Oh, I hit the jackpot. I'm like, it's my dopamine
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lights start going. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same behaviors. And I'm like sitting there self-analyzing and I'm like, wow, I just want to do this more. And it's the same as with every substance I ever did. I wanted to do more. I escalated it, whether it was alcohol, weed, opiates, whatever it was. I always went more. And it was the same thing, gambling. So, food, sex. I mean,
Yeah.
there's even positive things you can turn into an addiction where you turn like exercise. If someone's
Oh, yeah.
overdoing it,
Oh,
then it
yeah.
becomes a negative.
Yeah.
They're actually hurting their body.
Yes.
So if you're not prioritizing recovery, or if someone gets into like PEDs or something like that, then it becomes like, are you doing something positive for yourself, or what is it now?
Right.
Yeah. So we can ask questions, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for each of you, was it an aha moment, or was it a slow boil in a process to where enough's enough?
Me go first. For me, it was being sentenced to jail, and I was given with a work release of the 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, which was never been done, at least in Midland County. It was being more than the drunk tank and the nothing but orange. And I mean, I think it was really setting in, waiting all day long that Wednesday or whatever it was, so I could blow zeros before I could even leave, knowing this isn't good. But especially getting sentenced. I believe if I didn't get a jail sentence, I would have been sober a year, maybe two. I don't know. I know it wouldn't have lasted. But being locked up and listening to a bunch of jackasses hee-haw all night when it's lights out, wondering what my wife and kids are doing and everything else was enough that just the hatred for all substances was overwhelmed anything and everything else when it came to it all. So, I mean, it was kind of the aha, but it was more playing front hand, backhand with God, and just being smacked by it, knowing, saying it. This isn't this isn't life for me?
For me, it was a little bit of both. 05, I got in trouble with the law. First stop with you guys. 07, same thing. And I picked up little bits and pieces along the way, even though I wasn't ready. So then it was, well, change your people, places, and things, right? So I was like, that's it. I just have to move. Get away from all these people in Midland. Went to Cadillac. I didn't change anything up here, who I was or how I was or my thinking. And I attracted the same atmosphere, same people, all of that. So then I realized, like, okay, I'm not just an opiate addict. I'm an alcoholic, a pothead, all these things. Knowing all that, I still went back out, had more to learn. And at this point, it was, I was starting to get to a point where I was like, I'm, 30 years old. What am I doing? Live at my mom's house. Is this what I want my life to be? And then I overdosed. And that was where I was like, I'll quote you guys. I got a bucket of the fuckets. I was just like, my life is shit. I don't have anything to live for. So after I was resuscitated, I still wasn't like, I was just, whatever. I'm just going to keep doing this because my life isn't worth anything. I don't bring anything into the world positive. So I had this really dark outlook on who I was, what my life was. I even tried to con my way into a PR bond by setting up my own arraignment. The judge seen right through it, set my bond pretty high. And it took me 3 weeks of sitting in jail. And I was complaining to my bunkie. This was my light bulb moment where it was out of body experience. I was complaining to him that I was resuscitated so the cops could charge, the paramedics resuscitated me so the cops could charge me with the felony. And I was like, wow, my brain's messed up. Something seriously wrong with my thinking. It was had to be that extreme for me to really get to a point where I couldn't deny that it was me, that it was all me. So, we were just talking about if there was a recovery pod back then. At that point, I didn't necessarily need the recovery pod. I was all in. I was all in. Like, what do I got to do? Please God, let me get drug court, recovery court. I need this. I need some guidance. I'm willing now. That was when I finally had willingness. 90 days treatment. This is after 15 years of addiction. This was my first time in inpatient. And I was like, someone would tell me, they're like, Adam, profanity rarely contributes to context. And I'm like, you're right. Or it would be like, talk about it, get it out. Yeah, I need to do that. So every bit of information coming in, I was taking to heart, which really helped set a foundation for where I'm at now. But a slow burn plus that aha moment. Now let's take a moment to thank our sponsors, Pine Haven Assisted Living. At Pine Haven Assisted Living, they believe in making every resident feel at home. Nestled in the peaceful countryside of Hemlock, Michigan, they offer compassionate care in a family-like environment where residents can enjoy independence with the support they need. Registered nurse-owned and operated, their team provides personalized care, home-cooked meals, and a range of activities to ensure your loved ones continue to live a fulfilling life. They also have alpacas and llamas on site to enrich the lives of their residents. Experience the warmth and comfort of Pine Haven. Call them today at 989-295-6632. That's 989-295-6632. Or you can visit them on their website at pinehavenassistedliving.com. That's pinehavenassistedliving.com for more information. Now, back to the Level Up Life.
I mean, that's what we say, planting seeds along the way, right?
Right.
Oh.
Right. It may take whatever it takes 2-3 times to see somebody, but I always have hope that they're gonna get it.
I had a client, like the planting seeds, personal training client, awesome guy. His name's Bob. He said, "Do you know what the duff is, Adam?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "It's an organic layer in the forest where nothing can, like a seed can land and it doesn't actually grow. It just sits there. It can sit there for 50 years. Till it hits that soil, it won't grow. You just got to keep planting seeds in the duff. And then once it's disturbed enough and it hits that soil, it could turn into a giant oak tree."
Right.
Which I really love that analogy because that's what we do with the kids at the juvenile center. It's planting seeds, you know?
Right.
You may not, this may not change your life today, but it could save you, 5 years from now, something we say could save you from doing something that will take 10 years of your life.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell them constantly. Don't tell me what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I've been there. Tell me the truth. Like, I'm on staff here. I'm not mom and dad, but I got your back. And I want you to get a hold of me when you guys get out. Wins and losses. All my stuff is advice, right? Take it. Might be tomorrow. It might be when you get out that you keep building. Might be down the road. Oh, yeah, that one guy was. Blah, blah, blah. What do they call us?
Hans
Gym
and
bros.
Franz. Oh, yeah.
The gym bros. That one gym bro always said that, but given
That's funny.
that it's just advice. And we're going to utilize it when we're ready. Planting seeds nonstop. And it's cool. I'm in contact with a lot of them. And you can tell the ones that just, they want it to look good. And then ones that are asking me questions where I don't know if I had y'all's degrees, if I am like, whoa, dude, where is this coming from? That's some pretty deep stuff and questions. And I mean, I do the best I can, but him more than anything just needed to know somebody cared.
You know,
Exact-
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
We have some interns at our office right now, and so they're in school to be a counselor, and they're just wanting to learn everything, right? And they will, okay, well, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? And we always say the most important piece of this is have a relationship with that person. Be real, have a relationship, and that's not in the school books, right?
No,
So
it's not. Just be yourself.
exactly.
Like-
if you don't know, you don't know.
What you see in here with me is what I am. I'm not something different as I'm sitting here talking to you, in a counseling session or something. And I think that's really important. I really do, because I think clients respect that.
Oh, yeah.
And they
You
can
know.
see phoniness.
Oh, they can. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Authenticity.
Oh, yeah.
It would be disrespectful to not be not be real.
Right.
I think.
Yep. Totally agree.
So I know for me, there was some trauma. And I always say, like, you can't really define what trauma is for me, for you. It could all
Right.
be different. And that has to do with, like, what's our strengths, what's our weaknesses, what's our, what do we really care about? There's so many factors that go into how do you define trauma. Like my grandpa died in 2001. I watched his body swell up bedside for 17 hours. That was traumatic to me because he was like a father to me.
Right.
Then it was 2 years later, my dad died, who I just started reconnecting with. And so my toolbox was pretty empty as far as what skills I had to deal with that stuff. Plus you throw in the society, I don't want to call it toxic masculinity. it's just men are expected to be a certain way, not cry, not be sad, not need help. Like, we think about it in a physical way, like, oh, I can lift this whatever by myself. But it's also like, when you have that heavy topic, it's like losing someone close to you that it really cuts deep. And then just to lock up and just hold all that in, that's what I did. And my only outlet, my only thing that I had in my toolbox that I felt like I could get relief from was getting high. So how big of an impact do you guys think that trauma has on addiction, on substance use?
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Well, you said it. I mean, I think people use alcohol and drugs to numb their feelings, because I can remember, experiencing trauma as a kid, growing up in the house with, my dad was an alcoholic, and there was just always some type of chaos going on and everything. And I can remember when I first took a hit off a joint, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That was like, I don't have to think about that anymore right now.
Nope.
Yeah. So.
Get that wave of relief.
Yeah, relief.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's some of, not to be corny, but that's some of the peeling of the onion, right? So first you put the substance down, and then now you live your life without that substance. And part of that is revisiting some of those painful moments and working through them.
Right.
I did it that was, avoidance was really like my main defect of character, we'll say, because I would take any of that stuff that made me feel like that and brush it under the rug till the rug was just this big mountain, and I couldn't avoid it anymore. When I got to treatment, I was in a safe place, and I was able to okay, you ready for this? And I was able to unpack all that stuff.
Right.
But I think where a lot of people struggle today in getting clean and maintaining sobriety is when it gets to that point where I unpacked all that crap that I'd been storing for years. I think it's really hard when you're 40 days sober, you're just through detox, to get into that. And even in a inpatient setting, it's still I don't want to.
You don't want to open that up.
Yeah, I don't want to open this. It's just easier to avoid it. I know someone personally right now they're talking about leaving treatment, and they're right at that same point. So I think it's really getting hard, and that's where you got to get the shovel out. You got to start digging and establish the why. Why did I behave like this? I think it's really challenging for people to do.
Yeah, I think it's difficult in early recovery like that, because I think it's just the emotions are very raw. They're very, real. And I can just remember myself, the first thing I thought when I thought about that was getting high, So it's, that's where I think now, I think, with the recovery coaches that we work with and are so important, and getting with people. And of course, having them come into outpatient counseling and groups after, treatment and stuff. I think it's really cool that the recovery coaches are
huge.
Yeah, out in the community and able to support people, and because I look at them as kind of like the first responders, kind of, you know what I mean? They're right there,
And like in group now, Adam, when I do group, I will put the information on the board and present it, and then you've got Joel or Buddy, Greg, or Chancey, and they will then share this concept in real people talk in their life.
Right.
Right.
And so you've
Yeah.
got learning going on all these different levels,
Yeah.
and it's been wonderful.
And how they can share too, how did they deal with that
Right.
trauma? You
Right.
know, and I said, oh, wow. And they're obviously, people get to hear firsthand, oh my gosh, they did it. You know, I can do it too. Or,
Some of
yeah.
those people may have known those
Oh yeah,
individuals.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we hear
Right.
that all the time.
It
Yeah.
made me think about I went to treatment and how it does take a village. Well, when I got home from treatment, I went to a meeting. I remember it was a Saturday morning, 9 a.m. meeting. And I walked into this room. It was at a church. And I'm like,
What are you doing here?
they're like, everybody comes up, hugs me. They're like, Adam, I'm so glad you're here, man. Immediately embraced me. And I was like, all these people made it out. This guy's got 6 years. This guy's got 9 years. Like,
Yeah.
I can do it too. You know, so I think having that component, and every name you guys listed, those are phenomenal humans.
We have Heidi and Ashley also.
So,
Got to
yeah,
give them a
working
shout
with
out.
the gals, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know Heidi. I know
Oh, you should
Ashley.
invite her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got her story.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes. She's,
Have a recovery coach party here.
Yeah.
yeah.
We should.
100%. But we talked about it, and it's how we can line it up for our schedules to both be recovery coaches.
Oh.
I don't remember if it was Joel or Buddy. It was like, you already are. Don't even.
Yeah.
See, we
Right.
can't. I can't call Greg buddy, and there's a reason why. This is my buddy, so that's what I call her buddy. So
Yeah.
Greg has to be Greg.
Greg.
So
Who is that? I only know him by Buddy.
Oh, okay.
Who's this Greg guy?
Yeah, right.
Greg.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Angela says we're like brother and sister, Greg and I.
Oh, gosh.
Because when you get the two of us together.
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. That
Well, I
would be an
think-
interesting episode.
I think Greg is about kin with, or could be with just anyone. I mean, his personality, and he is, at least in his sobriety, he's never met a stranger.
Right.
I mean,
Let's not get his head too swollen here. If he's watching it, he's
Yeah.
okay.
Because then he
He's
comes
all right.
to the office and then we got to deal with
Yeah,
that.
he's all right.
Yeah. I mean, the whole trauma aspect, and then the village, and I think to say that the whole process is complicated, it is. I don't want to, for anybody out there who's still in active addiction, I don't want them to feel like, well, it's so complicated, and it's
Yeah.
really not.
Right.
At the same time, it's just like,
it's because every story is different,
Yeah.
right? And like you guys had touched on, there's not, you got to do it this way, or you're a failure.
Right.
You know, I've said countless times how I struggle with it because I don't think anybody's ever had it as easy as me. I mean, it was laying there and hearing all the frickin' morons. That was just enough where it made that hatred just under a microscope. And that has outweighed everything. You know, I mean, it hasn't been all sunshine and roses the whole time, but I mean, it was that good source of strength and everything else. And a lot of that other growth has come along, you know, throughout the years and digging in deeper and figuring stuff out. But the initial, I mean, it's easy to get sober when you're locked up, right? But I'm also going out to the rig where I had freedom. You know, there was no drug test. I mean, I did get drug tested at the rig, but the only rule was every quarter I was getting drug tested and alcohol tested. But, I mean, it was easy. I mean, my one boss from Texas, almost every 2 weeks, look at that son of a bitch. Wazny's the first dude in the history of the oil field to be excited to come to work. I traded orange coveralls for blue ones. I don't know if I was excited, but it was better than the other 2 weeks.
Right.
Well, I think when people, like, if you, from an outside perspective, I'm thinking about your story, and that was your bottom. To define, like, I think this is where stigma comes into play too, because my story, my bottom, when you look at, like, you could say Adam was worse.
Mm-hmm.
I like to look at it a little bit differently. Like, I had more to learn.
Right.
Well, I mean, there are a whole lot. We both had a whole lot of years.
Well,
I mean, I could have quit when I really, really had a drinking problem. When my buddy was driving the car and a drunk driver hit him. I was the only one messed up in our car. That should have been my first wake-up call. But whether that became depending who you talk to in my life. Wife said that I was like I was invincible. I just didn't care.
Yeah, drugs
Right.
and alcohol do that to you.
It was, not necessarily a death wish, but my behaviors, it was whatever, and I had to balance that. I don't drink every day. Odds are I'm getting drunk if I drink or whatever, if I use, but it wasn't have to.
yeah.
My kids couldn't tell you stories of me being fucked up any which way because
Right.
it was elsewhere. I coached, did this. All right, you guys are going to ride home with mom
Yep.
or put them to bed. See you later, honey.
It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
I hear you talk, and then I think about, like, my dad. My dad was a person that was obviously drunk. I mean, you just couldn't have, it was just right in front of you. So, but it is. But that's what's cool when you get in a group setting or you go to a meeting or whatever. Everybody has these different stories.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you can take something from everybody's
100%.
Journey.
story. Yeah.
That's where the key phrase someone once said to me, and I can't remember. I think it was Mike H., local guy, not local anymore, but he did an open talk at Harbor Hall. He's the one that got me back into recovery softball, which was a blessing. And he said to me, Adam, relate, don't compare. Relate,
Right.
don't compare.
That's
Those
good.
Two
Yeah.
words or three
Right.
words,
Right.
how much of a
yes.
difference that's had on my life, because I can sit here, talk with anybody,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's someone who has an addiction to some sort of substance, alcohol, drugs, whatever it is. If it's a food addiction, I can relate to math. They would have us simplify fractions. You can do the same thing with these core behaviors, simplify it down. Like, I can relate to that.
Yep.
I was exactly like that. I did the same thing.
Right.
Our DOCs were different.
Right.
Our coping mechanisms were different.
Yeah.
Different journeys. But
Same demon, different name.
Yep.
Right.
And now that I've got 9, almost 10 years.
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So now I've developed all these coping skills, exercise being one of them, and I have preventative coping skills. Like, we go into the juvenile center.
Mm-hmm.
2 things that we start every session with. What are you mad at? Are you mad or sad about anything? You don't have to be, but if you are, this is your chance to talk about it. We go around. Everybody has their time, their floor, their microphone moment. Then we go back through and we talk about gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to say what you're grateful for.
Right.
It can be food. It can be, water that you can flush, whatever it may be. It can be very simple. But what the concept is behind that is it creates a behavior of whenever I'm mad, whenever I'm sad, I can stack gratitude on it.
Mm-hmm.
And will automatically change my outlook. So when you can create a response in the brain that isn't dependent on it just comes naturally. Like,
Right.
this mofo cut me off in traffic, but I guess I got, a nice truck I'm driving. Like it automatically shifts your thought process. Like, boom. So that exercise, all these coping skills now that I have in my toolbox, I meditate, I pray, these are maintenance.
And if you want to get like super psychological and technical, you're practicing neuroplasticity.
Mm-hmm.
You're working on changing the roadmap in your brain.
You can literally rewire it, but it can go the other way too.
Absolutely.
Oh, it can, yeah.
And it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's times where I'm like,
well, it's human nature on that,
Yeah.
right?
like, you know how much IRS takes from people who own businesses?
Oh,
Yeah, we
yeah,
do.
we know.
It's like, holy moly, what the?
Yeah.
So then I can go down a rabbit hole with just a single topic like that.
Yeah.
Or,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Nobody goes down the rabbit hole of the positivity.
well, yeah. Then you got to just reverse it.
You reverse it.
Well, I don't know if you guys have what we have, but that's what's been so helpful is when I go down a rabbit hole, Jolene will be there to clear up my thinking errors and kind of pull me out. And the other way around too. Luckily, we don't tend to go down this rabbit holes at the same time.
Right.
We've been fortunate
And
that way.
that's the byproduct of a great relationship, right? Just as husband and wife or whatever partnership, that it's always the ebb and flow.
Yeah.
And, even when it comes to arguments, somebody did something stupid, the other one's pissed. This one's just in defense mode or whatever else. And it comes that balance and that ebb and flow to get through that situation.
Oh, that never happens with us.
Never.
It just goes back to it takes a village, right?
Right.
You gotta have people. You gotta have people around you that care about you. I always revert back to the Jim Rohn quote: "You're the average of the 5 people you're around the most."
Yep.
And then you can cultivate that. Like you can have your hype person, your intellectual person, your spiritual person. You're like, go down that list and have this insulated, protective layer of friends around you.
Right.
That just they'll notice if something's off and they'll be like, "What are you doing, Adam?"
Right.
There's a guy at Harbor Hall, John Duty. I wish I could do the Duty walk. Like I would have to not be on mic, but the way
We'll
this
get
guy,
up and do
this,
your
the
best.
way this guy walked, it was like, oh shit, did I do something wrong? He's walking at you.
Right.
You didn't have to do anything wrong, but you're like, oh, he's looking at me, like soul piercing.
Looking right through you.
And then everybody would just tell on themselves, like, "Dude, John, I didn't think anybody would get mad that I chewed in group." And he's just like smiling,
Yep.
having people like that around you that just.
Well, I think that's, with us, I think, letting people know that we are there, but at the same time, I feel like, letting people know that, hey, what I'm seeing isn't you.
Right.
It's something's going on, and just because people say, well, why didn't you say something? Why didn't you call somebody out if they were high? I've said, no, I don't feel like I need to do that in front of everybody. I'll just have a private conversation with them and
Well,
let
and you
'em
do
know.
it in public like that. It's like
Right. Well,
becomes now like the walls might come up more and defense
Right,
mechanisms.
It's just
And,
it's shaming, and there's no
Yeah.
purpose
Yeah.
to
It's
that.
yeah,
addiction's very complicated.
it is.
Stigma that goes with it
Yes.
doesn't help any. That's part of why this is in existence, is to, reduce the stigma, not just substance use, but mental
Mental
health,
health.
because I don't care what position someone has in life. Could be their job, could be financially. Like addiction doesn't, and mental health doesn't know boundaries.
Oh, it
No.
doesn't. No.
We all experience the same emotions.
Yeah.
The same sadness, the same happiness, the same, and that's by sharing. I feel like that's how we connect.
Right.
Yeah, and we always say just because we have those letters behind our name doesn't mean that we don't, it doesn't mean that we have our shit together every day, right? We're all human,
Yep.
and none of us is perfect. But as you said, when you've got people around you to support you and help you and challenge you, that's what it's all about. Just trying to be the best version of ourselves today.
Try and grow through our mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not done making mistakes. If I am, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
We always say that the Perfect Human of the Year award passed us this year, and it's passed us every year so far because, we're still growing and evolving. And
I just
that
want to
stuff.
say what is so rewarding is seeing people that, like you, both of you, who, are in recovery and are making a difference in other people's lives. That is so cool. I mean, that's the most important thing to us.
that's what we leave behind.
Right.
Yeah.
When people come in and just to say hi and give us a hug, and
that's what it's about.
that's what it's all about.
And
sharing.
sharing those chicks' success stories.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know you, Dave, except for today. When I look at Adam, I mean, remember that scrawny kid?
yeah.
And he was just
so you
doped
remember
was
out.
probably
when
like-
Joe coached out at
Yeah, you were.
Westtown?
Yeah.
The kid with the long hair that was a
Were
really
you one
good
of his
pitcher?
kids?
That
Oh,
was me.
no kidding.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
when Joe did coached a baseball team?
Yeah.
Like way early in our marriage? He was one of the kids.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's a long time
That
ago.
was a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
wow.
I was a shithead then.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful you guys both came on the show today.
Me too.
I'd like to have you on again.
Okay.
You're open to
sure.
it. We
Yeah,
can
anytime.
dial the topics in because you guys
right.
are full of a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we pretend to
We
be
can
anyway.
talk about those thinking errors
Yeah, thinking
and
errors.
addict behaviors
Addict
and
behavior.
thinking and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we
Now,
could.
we could just do a group,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
right?
need like a
chairs.
round table here.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
I love the idea.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks for having us.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share.